Hello and welcome to this tactical analysis of the Continental Cup, Arsenal versus Chelsea. We're going to have a look at Arsenal's 4-4-2 or 4-1-3-2 press, as well as their 2-2 midfield build-up. And then we're going to have a look at Chelsea's constantly changing deep build-up and their midfield build-up and reliance on counter-attacks. Before we get into it, if you enjoy the video, please give it a like. It goes a long way. Consider sharing and subscribing. And with that, let's get into it. Starting here in the 7th minute with Chelsea retreating whilst using a back three where the far-sided fullback tucks in to become the wide centre-back on that side. So in this case, with the ball being here on the left-hand side, Perisset, the right-back, will become the right wide centre-back. I have to point out that Arsenal were especially good at forcing mistakes out of the Chelsea backline and midfield during deep build-up, with special praise going to the likes of Miedema, McCabe and Little due to their tenacity and their positioning, which we see the fruits of here. But unfortunately, Arsenal's counter-attack immediately breaks down from Miedema's mispass. That allows Chelsea to set up again and try and build up in that 3-4 shape again. So here Perisset will become that third centre-back, this being against what starts off as a 4-4-2 or a 4-1-3-2, with Little typically being the centre midfielder pushing higher up to deny space for the likes of Cuthbert or Ingle. And to the reason that I praised McCabe earlier, it's because while she has more of a proclivity for playing on the left-hand side, she's extremely tenacious and defensively minded. So by placing her here on this right-hand side, Arsenal were able to successfully disrupt Chelsea's preferred build-up path through the likes of Eriksen, Wrighton and Liam Charles. With Arsenal successfully pressing on this right-hand side, Chelsea choose to retreat back into their defence, as at least initially they weren't trying to play those long 50-50s. Just briefly, whilst I mentioned the 4-1-3-2 or 4-4-2 press of Arsenal, at times it almost looked like a 4-3-3, where one side, so for example here, McCabe on the right hand side, the right winger would be higher than the left winger. On this occasion, Liam Charles is able to get the ball into Wrighton. This is a build-up that Chelsea have had tons of success from, with Wrighton running down the left-hand side channel and then whipping a ball in to Kerr, who, as we can see here, is already in a great position. Notice here also Zinsberger, who was higher up to try and sweep in case the ball was played more centrally. And then from Wrighton's great cross, despite being outnumbered, Kerr manages to win this header. Although it's a tame effort, luckily for Arsenal, Chelsea sought to utilise her ability in the air with long goal kicks or long balls from the defence to her, with Wrighton and James looking to attack the flick-ons. Here we have Arsenal building up in a 2-4 shape, with Little and Walty sitting just ahead of the defence, versus a 4-1-4-1 or a 4-1-3-2 press, at least initially, by Chelsea, where on this occasion the far-sided wide midfield, so James, would tuck inside to be able to press Sousa. Unlike Chelsea, Arsenal were a lot happier to play the short pass into the centre midfielders, who had an exceptional game, the both of them, or as Williamson has done on this occasion, play it longer over that Chelsea press into the likes of typically Miedema playing between the lines. Later in the game, both Miedema and Palova played this role between the lines, with Ford and Blackstenius threatening in behind off their flick-ons or through balls. Arsenal return back to the goalkeeper, who then plays the ball out wide to the left-hand side, where we see what was typical is initially for Arsenal, where both their wide midfielder as well as also their fullbacks would try and push up, especially near side, typically ending up in a 2-2 or a 3-2 shape, allowing Arsenal to be able to mop up defensively when Chelsea counter-attack. On this occasion, Miedema is in the box contesting this cross, but otherwise she would like to float between the lines, trying to help the wide midfielder and fullbacks to overload the wide spaces, typically making runs in those half spaces or combining with others making runs beyond her. And so Chelsea are able to defend Catley's cross, and we immediately see that counter press with Walty and then Little coming across to support her. And then fortunately for Arsenal, Little is able to clean up, preventing Chelsea from being able to play the ball into the devastating Kerr, whether in the air or on the ground. As the game wore on, James was also positioned higher so that her and Kerr could dovetail, but it was to no avail. So as mentioned, Chelsea were constantly tweaking their deep build-up. On this occasion, we instead have a 2-4 shape, with the full-back not staying deep as a wide centre-back, this being against that 4-1-3-2. And so on this occasion, despite Chelsea building up on their stronger side, Arsenal are able to win the ball back and begin a counter-attack, where Miedema almost sets up Blackstenius for a pretty good chance. And then here in the 54th minute, we have yet another build-up. Although it's just a tweak, we still have the back three, but now we have a dedicated centre-back with Buchanan, with Perisset and Wrighton as your wing-backs. And at this point, Leopolds and Ingle as your centre midfield, which allowed Emma Hayes to be able to push Cuthbert higher up into more of a cam position. So we see this longer ball from Berger, and we've got the tenacious Cuthbert contesting it. One assumes pushing her higher up would allow her to utilise this tenacity as well as also her passing ability higher up the pitch. Chelsea managed to maintain possession and get the ball out on this occasion into Perisset, who then plays a relatively early long through ball for guess who? Kerr, running into her favourite 1v1 duel. Unfortunately for Chelsea and Kerr, Sousa, as well as Arsenal's defensive unit as a whole, were very good at doing just enough to stop a good shot or regain possession. Be it against Kerr, James or Canarid next. I want to have a look at this scenario in the 35th minute. So we have an attempted pass here into Marnham, which unfortunately breaks down, and Eriksson either clears this or tries a long ball immediately, looking to release Kerr, who has support in Kankovic and James. But unfortunately for Chelsea, Arsenal are able to win back possession. I do think that there's a fundamental difference between Chelsea's counterattacks and Arsenal's, which seem to come more from beating a press or regaining possession in an advantageous position. See this scenario in the 61st minute, where again we've got that left hand side build up for Chelsea, losing possession, allowing Arsenal to regain possession and start a counter attack. But Arsenal don't immediately play that through ball. Instead, Marnham allows play to develop, eventually allowing Ford to get into a foot race against Buchanan, which led to a stonewall penalty, which fortunately for Chelsea wasn't given. Anyway, let's go back to the 39th minute, where we have Arsenal in a 4-4-2 versus Chelsea's 3-3-4. So again, another little tactical tweak with our midfield trio and then our wing backs and forwards occupying those wide spaces or central spaces higher up. We've got James here making a run from central space to out wide, looking to draw a defender out into this space, but also provide an option for Wrighton to play through ball, and also draw Kim Little here deeper to potentially create space here. With a little bit of skill by Wrighton, she's able to escape on this left hand side and whips in an absolutely delicious ball for Kerr. I do want to just point out here Kim Little's position, where she's come across trying to cover for her fullback, and also Walty. Both of these two centre midfielders were exceptional. Moving on to the 58th minute, we've got Arsenal building up deep. So before we saw them play 2-4, here they're doing a similar thing, but they're having Zinsberger play a 1-yard pass into Williamson, who then plays a longer ball into Marnham. On other occasions, they actually would allow the fullbacks to push really high to help the wide midfielders when Arsenal played those longer balls from deeper. And later in the game, with Arsenal being ahead, they were a lot less likely to play those shorter passes in these deep positions and instead play over the Chelsea press, eliminating mistakes. Millie Bright is able to contest the ball here. Cuthbert here is able to contest that launched ball, with Leopolds pushing higher than Ingle from her CDM position. Unfortunately, Walty and Little were able to regain possession and begin a counter-attack, passing through the Chelsea press rather than straight away over it as Chelsea would typically do, allowing here Walty to keep playing these 15-yard rather simple passes, eventually leading to Palova having a shot in quite a dangerous position. Moving on to the 73rd minute, we've got Chelsea building up with that 3-4 shape, with Cuthbert now pushed deeper because Ingle has been subbed off, and Chelsea have played it long into James, who then plays it short to Cuthbert, and then from here she's going to use her ability to play a longer ball into the front line. But unfortunately, Fleming isn't able to escape the Arsenal defence. With that, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider sharing on social media and subscribing. And with that, we're out.